Good Sunday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks and SUVs and motorcycles, life, the adventures, the addictions. Oh my goodness gracious, what a beautiful Sunday morning. Somewhat, it's overcast, but it's not too hot, not too cold, not too humid. And as always, good Sunday morning there to those that watch my channel. Appreciate you tuning in. Isn't a long conversation, kind of just a short overview of the excitement of yesterday of the Fireblade. And that's why I'm just reaching out this morning, because I got a lot of comments, a lot of hits. And I appreciate everybody reaching out and interacting on the channel. So over the barn, over the shop, with a collection of way too many vehicles, as so many know through all my conversations. And yes, so what did we do yesterday? Something that yesterday morning I got out of bed. I would have never had the idea that by the end of the day yesterday, I'd have yet another different motorcycle sitting in my shop. Beyond unbelievable. Sincerely, would never have thought that I'd have a Honda CBR 1000 RR under the Fireblade code, because I have both CBR 1000s. I mean, technically this is a CBR 1000 RR with a 1000cc motor, and this is a CBR 1000 RR with the Fireblade brand with 999 cc's. So these are two different motorcycles. They have the same characteristic and look. If they both had the same color, it'd probably maybe be a little harder to differentiate the two of them, because so many of the components are similar, but yet so many are not. And so even for me, I was never fixated on this motorcycle because it's such a race motorcycle that even for me, being 61 years old, I would say, why would I own something like that? I've never been a sport bike guy per se, and why would I want to have something to go back-roading and doing some pretty crazy riding on a motorcycle like this? But as I get older, I start to kind of change my views and ideas and thoughts, and I just think to myself, how many more years can I ride motorcycles? How many more years will my body even let me ride a motorcycle? I mean, there's a lot of people that I can assure you that cannot sit in this cramped up position without their body cramping up. I can guarantee there's many people like, you know what? There's no way I'd ever be able to ride that style motorcycle. It's just my body would not adjust to it. And at the age I'm at, I just don't have the calisthenics to do it. So, yeah, as always, it's crazy. And for some out there that kind of think it's a little crazy, I get all that. I don't take it the wrong way. I understand. Yeah, I'm a crazy guy. And so anyways, just kind of looking at the bikes and walking around them, you can obviously see some different aesthetics of the muffler. You can tell this is a different style muffler from that muffler. And this is actually they call it the Akrapovic or Akrapovic muffler. So this is actually factory approved muffler that was designed with Honda and them, and it's pretty cool how it's a two-end pipe into one muffler, and it goes from inline four-cylinder motor with 4 head pipes that go into 2, that go into a catalytic converter to 1, comes back out of converter from 1 to 2, or probably goes to 2, and then back into 1. So it is pretty creative on how Honda really did in Akrapovic, however you pronounce that. They did a great job, I think, in the design of that muffler. The suspension, radically different. This is an electronic suspension. That's a manually adjusted suspension. And first thing is, this is like a $17,000 motorcycle, and this is like a $29,000 motorcycle. So there's $12,000 in difference in the price in these motorcycles because of the technology. This is one of the first, not the first year, but this bike came out in 1992 as a CBR 900 RR. And it wasn't until like 2000, I think 2 or 4, maybe even been longer than that, before it went to the CBR 1000 R. It seems like about every 2 to 4 years, they update these motorcycles from the 1992 period on. And now this bike technically is 32 years old. If you look here, 30th anniversary. So this bike here, and what's kind of confusing is, this is a 2023 motorcycle, but it's not. It's a 2024. You go on the website of Honda Power Sports, and even myself, I question, is this a 2023 or 2024? And it's kind of confusing And I need to look at my paperwork to figure that out, because Jeff, the service guy, he even brought up that this is a 2023, just a late delivery. I don't know. I honestly can't tell you if this is 23 or 24. I was never fixated on this motorcycle by any means, because it's an expensive motorcycle, and I really felt that for the real true motorcycle enthusiast, this bike would have been spoken for. So I was surprised that Timbrook even had this available. But the dirty secret is they never even posted it on their internet, and they actually reached out to me first before they even did that. So that's kind of a favor that they did me, maybe not, because it's just me buying yet another motorcycle, and at the end of the day, some that aren't really watching my channel would say, well, your Honda African Twin's gone, so you traded for that. Initially I was, but I decided at the last second, no, I'm going to go with the Transalp instead. The Honda Twin is just too nice. I rode that thing yesterday, and I just couldn't part with it. So the Transalp gets ridden back to dealership tomorrow, bring back the Honda African Twin. But back to this motorcycle, the technology in this motorcycle, it's a racing engine. Even though the CBR 1000RR here, it's every bit of a very great motorcycle, but it's not track ready like this motorcycle is. This truly is track ready. If you're watching my video, you can just see that there's some key components, like on the front brake, there is a key component here that makes it so that this brake is pressurized, and it's very intense braking. And if you race motorcycles, you'll end up putting in this special assembly to make your braking up front better. This has your inverted forks, but that's the Showa, and this has the Owens. So if you look here, the Owens is the front suspension. This one is electronically controlled. You can literally adjust the suspension on this through electronics in the infotainment center. If you look here, the infotainment centers are kind of different compared to the other one and how all the technology is set up in it. This has Brembo brakes. This has the Tokiko brakes. So this motorcycle here has the higher end, high performance braking system on it over the CB1000RR. And once again, it's all catering towards that total outright racing. This is designed for the true race guy, that he's going to take this track right out of the gate, and it's pretty much race ready. And sure, everybody's going to make their own adjustments and do things to it, but it's definitely track capable. Over, say, this is not really track capable. You're going to have to do modifications on this to really run this around the track. This has really cool cowl induction here, air induction, that helps cool down everything in the bike. If you look over here, you don't see that same type of technology in this this bike. It has it coming through here and here. Down here, it has a huge mouth to suck that air in. The back suspension, you can just look here. It's in some ways it's similar to this suspension, but not so much. You see how this piston, if you can see down inside there, look how that is installed versus look how this, well, I guess not. I mean, that's one thing I did look up, and it was kind of confusing to see if the rear suspension really is that much different. And it doesn't really make a lot of comments about that being that much more special, but I'm sure it is. And I'm just the green guy to talking about this machine. This machine actually had, so that the bike has bigger tires. This actually has a bigger rear tire, but the front tires are the same. So you get that with the motorcycle. Get a little bit more cowling, I guess, to a degree. If you kind of look here on the aerodynamics compared to over there. The handlebars seem to be similar, but this seems like this is down a little bit more, or is it? It's kind of over here with the bike turn. I guess it's within reason, the same, but it just looks a little more aggressive on that one. The rake is like 24 degrees on this one. This one's like 23 degrees. And the motor, obviously the motor is a bigger, it's the, I don't know how you can say it, because the bore and stroke is bigger on this motor than that motor. This motor is like a 214 horsepower motor. That's like 180 horsepower motor. So it's about a 22, I would say 24 horsepower difference. And even though I rode that bike yesterday, I can't really feel that, but I'm still breaking the bikes in. So I really haven't gotten into these bikes in radical RPMs. Because that bike, in so many ways, feels similar to this motorcycle in the power, but it's, once again, I've never gotten the power band all out. So what does this mean here? Serial number 2077. Are they going to build like 2,500 of these this year, or 3,000? It's a very limited production bike just because it's an all-out race bike. This bike has what they call the quick shifter, where you don't have to use the clutch. So when you go into first gear, you pull on the clutch, you push down the gear, and then once you're off and running, you don't have to use the clutch anymore. You can power shift up and down with no clutching. It's called the quick shifter. This bike here, it doesn't have that feature. You can add it, but you have to still clutch the vehicle when you go through the gears. And then Jeff, who's a real track racer, he's saying that you can change the linkage here to go to GP Moto Racing, which I guess reverses the shifting or something. I'm not real clear on that because I'm not the all-out track guy that really is into this stuff. Here, if you just look at the infotainment center right here versus you look at that over here, you can just see there's a little different design. And I don't have the key here with me to kind of power things up, and I should, because I think that'd be kind of fun to just share with you the different noise on these motorcycles, and that would be pretty cool, if you know what I mean. So let me see if I can get into my shop. Now, if you look at these two motorcycles, one has a key fob, and one has a keyed ignition. So this one here, you have to literally put a key in the ignition to get it going. This one here, it's pretty cool. It has a little push-on button like our BMWs kind of have. And then that there is pretty cool when it kind of powered up. So you got a remote key to start it. So now each one's in neutral. So let's go ahead and start this one up. And that's got a nice tone to it. No, keeper, no. Stop it. It's not bad. No. You want to play. Not too shabby, right? Let's go up here and start this one. So, at idle, not a lot of difference that occurs. But this definitely has a much throatier exhaust and a higher speed. And in the rear, yes, no, keeper. Is it any bigger? Any different? That's where I think there's some things that are similar, but look at how this is mounted down below. Here, this one's mounted up top. Look at the wheel design. Same wheels? Looks like the same wheels. Now this is pretty cool. Oh yeah, look at the back. Look at the back lights. See this style here versus this style here. Yesterday I thought the tail light and the license plate was different, but they're not. Same length. A lot of people say get the retro kit and put it back up in here, which you can do that. You can relocate it up here if you want to get rid of all that look back here to make it even look more aggressive. Definitely a different chain link, chain drive from this one over here. But that is a different chain of how it's geared. The different entertainment center it isn't. Yeah. Well, it comes down to two on what screen. A lot of technology in this thing to figure out how to. If this one's off, you just turn this little knob forward and it turns it off. It's pretty cool. I mean, there's so much technology in this bike, but the biggest thing is no, Keeper. No, stop it. The biggest thing is in 2020, they went to a total electronic front suspension. And so they really have made just a lot of improvements and adjustments on this motorcycle over the years of 30 plus years. And for me to think I'd actually own one of these, yeah, I'm with you 100% on that. Wow, right? I mean, who can even imagine? And yeah, if you're smart, I think you just leave it alone. I don't think I do anything to this motorcycle. The fairing, let me see up here. If you look at the fairing, see that's a notch in there. And see, it does not. And this seems to be more rounded. This seems to be more of a point on it. The rear view mirrors, they seem to be about the same. The body face should definitely different. If you look at that over there versus this seems to have more right here. If you look right here, and this here it plays out more there than over here. But I got to say that, you know, it's a $12,000 difference in pricing motorcycles. For the average person, I'm going to say all day long that I think this motorcycle here is the great purchase, great value. But at the same time, yeah, you have the money and availability. But it's interesting, the tank, this tank looks like it's a little different right here, but it may be the colors. Maybe just how the colors are, but I swear the tanks are different. And just the way the cowling is up front here, so it's all plastic. What does it say in the year? So it says it's a 2023. 2023. So I guess this is a 2023. I don't think the 2024 Fireblade has been released. And it's just all about building motorcycles and getting things built. It's all from that pandemic time. That's what Jeff, the service writer and manager, the service manager of Timber Honda, was implying yesterday. It's just the state of times. It takes a lot of time to get motorcycles to their dealership. So anyways, just thought I'd share with everybody on my new purchase. And a lot of people are intrigued and think I'm pretty crazy, and I don't disagree. And it is interesting to see the back end, how you have these black passenger, but yet you have the silver aluminum look on this. So that's kind of interesting. You would have thought that they would have black. You know, this should be like black and black. Why they kind of didn't do that? Sometimes you just scratch your head and these guys put these things together. Keeper, stop it. On what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. And it's the radiator bigger. It's interesting how you see the head pipe through this here, but you don't see the head pipe through there. Come on, Keith. It's just incredible how that dog just constantly is a nuisance. And so anyways, the kid is going to go to the park and do some walking around. And for me, do I go to the car show? I don't know. We were talking about yesterday taking the bikes up to the car show. So I don't know. So the kid's on an adventure of hanging out with her friends and doing some walking and sightseeing, which that's all fine. So what do? I don't know yet. In the air, I've always got things to do. I've got so many projects of just putting things together and putting accessories on so many things that I've bought. It's beyond believable. So it just doesn't end. And as always, I appreciate everybody reaching out my channel. Oh, the Shoei Neotech. This is an incredibly comfortable helmet. I love it. And I've had so many helmets. I really have. I've had the collection of all the helmets. And I can honestly tell you the Shoei once again prevails. And it's just a beautiful, really nice. It took me 2 weeks to get this helmet because they just released this scheme. And it's a more expensive one because of the carbon fiber look of the helmet. But the other ones are probably about $150, $200 less. That's about $1,000 helmet because of basically the look of it and the aesthetics and everything else. But overall, I would definitely buy a Shoei. But everybody's head is different. So that's the thing. You got to be careful. I know that because I've owned a lot of helmets and everybody's head is different. I take a large, and the Bluetooth technology is really good. So I can't emphasize enough the new Shoei Neotech 3. I would definitely buy one if you're a Shoei person and you've had Shoei helmets and you've had success. One of my YouTubers thinks that I have an indentation on my skull from the helmet, you know, being too much into my skull. And I'm like, no, that's just from somebody beating me over my head so many times because I have such a thick skull and I don't listen to anybody. So that's all that is. So anyways, that's out up. So maybe car show time. I don't know. What do you think about it? So everybody have a blessed Sunday and stay tuned for more conversations and the antics. God bless. Have a great day.